Hey everybody, Carpo here, and it's a nice trail of, or a nice morning of cloudy trails in the sky, but otherwise beautiful. Um, and it got me thinking this morning about solar events because there was a time about a year ago when I started documenting chemtrails slash contrails to do my own homework because I didn't really know who to believe or what to believe. So I started documenting wind conditions, wind speed, humidity, temperature on days when there were apparent sprays or chem clouds, chemtrails. The correlation I was trying to make was to see whether or not these trails, regardless of whether or not they're chemicals or just plain, condensation, that's irrelevant to me. What I'm trying to do is figure out whether it's being done purposefully or it's just condition related. And I made a lot of comparisons to solar flares because it was what I was kind of wondering if perhaps during a solar flare event there's more spraying. Well, I'm still up in the air about it. I don't know. However, for those of you who know my videos, know I never talk about the sun, but the sun is huge to me. I watch the sun every day. I have the programs on my computer where I can watch the flares and watch the activity up to the last minute. And in the last couple of days, we've had 3 X-class solar flares, an X1, X2, and an X3, and they are the biggest flares we've had pretty much all year. And they're not Earth-facing, thank God, because we'd be screwed if they were. And I think people don't give enough credence to the sun to understand really what it means. I know people are really starting to pick up on the electric universe theory and understand a little bit more about how these things work, but a lot of people have had this idea that a solar flare is detrimental to everyone. Well, really, solar flares are what keep our atmosphere expanded. There's a lot of detail in it, but I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to go into that. But my question here is, if a solar flare were to hit, let's say a major solar flare happened and the CME hit the Earth, there's a possibility it could take out the power grid. And most folks don't really understand what that means, and that's okay because it's ground currents that it creates would basically back themselves up through the towers and fry everything, and they'd fry circuitry within all of your cell phones, cars, and everything else. Well, check this out. Apparently, according to the studies they've done, the cost to insulate the entire American grid, at least 50% against damage, would cost about $1 per American. That's very little, about $350–400 million. I heard somebody say 50 billion. So somewhere between 500 million and 50 billion. But considering the amount we spend on war, what price is too great to pay to insulate our power grid against complete failure? The Carrington event of 1859 was a major solar flare event where there were basically aurora seen all the way down to, I believe, the tropics, or close to it, and it created a major solar event. But luckily there were only telegraphs, so it fried all the telegraph lines. So if it happened today, who knows what would happen? But something to think about. Peace.